So right now we're dealing with a lot of economic uncertainty, right? We got people getting laid off left and right from companies. You got people that are actually looking for a job and struggling with the job market. You know, they're applying for like hundreds of jobs and they're not getting any callbacks, right? So people are even during the job during their job searches, they're struggling. You also have people that are working, that are employed, but they're complaining about how much they hate the 9 to 5 lifestyle, right? They talk about how they're working, they're overworked, their companies don't value their time, they're stressed out. Even though they have a job, they're not being paid enough. Like they're living paycheck to paycheck. Whatever it is, people are complaining that it's just like the way the cost of living in this economy is just too much, right? And you hear all the time they talk about how these companies just don't care about them, right? And look, you understand, if you're someone that's watching this, then you have to understand that these companies are there to do one thing, right? They're here to make a profit. They're about the bottom line, and you have to understand that. And when I was working in corporate jobs, I understood that. I never took it personally that they never valued me, right? If they didn't value me, then I had two choices. I could deal with it, or I can just leave and go somewhere else. And I think for a lot of people, they struggle with that because they want to have that connection, that they want to know that their companies care about them. But in reality, we live in times where these companies are about the bottom line, and you have to understand that. And if you don't understand that, it's going to be hard for you to deal with that. So for a lot of people, you see them on TikTok, you see them on social media talking, complaining about how stressed out they are. And I remember, and they want to get away from the 9 to 5 lifestyle. And now I understand that because I was the same way, right? The difference is I chose to do something about it, right? Instead of complaining about it, I was like, you know what? I get it. I understand how these things work. I need to figure this thing out because complaining is not going to solve my problem. So if you're someone that's looking to, how to stop, learn how to stop being a slave to the clock, in this video, we're going to talk about that because like I said, I know how people like when it comes to that. I know what you're feeling, right? You want to have more control over your time. You want to be able to have more control of what you do, how you do it, when you do it, and it's hard to do that working a 9 to 5. When I say 9 to 5, I'm just not talking about working 9 to 5. It's more of a statement of just being a slave to the clock, right? Working for someone else, right? And that's when I say 9 to 5, that's what I mean. Because obviously there's different shifts. So, but in order to remove yourself from that, you have to find a way to divorce yourself from other companies having your time. And how do you do that? Like for me, once, like back in 2016 when I started my online business, I was a kickbox instructor, so I was doing my little part-time kickbox instructor, but I was also doing my working on my business. And 6 months when I started in 2016, 6 months later, I made $4.50 on Amazon. Now that doesn't seem like much, but that meant everything to me because I knew that I could do it. I knew this was possible. And I think for a lot of people, when it comes to wishing or hoping that they could get away, remove themselves from the 9 to 5 lifestyle and do something else, I think the first thing people struggle with is the belief that they can make money outside of their 9 to 5 job, right? Because if you're going to do that, your beliefs dictate your action, right? If you have the belief that you can make money outside of a 9 to 5, you'll find ways to do that. You'll take steps or to all right, say, all right, I'm gonna be rich someday, I'm gonna be wealthy, and you're gonna take actions in order to get there. But if you're someone that says, I can't, then you won't, right? If you believe that you're someone that can't make money outside of a 9 to 5 job, then you won't. You're going to be stuck doing that 9 to 5 job for the rest of your life, right? So it first starts with that belief. And for me, when I started my online business and I made that $4.50, that's all I needed to know. Like once I did that, I knew it was possible. Like I said, it's $4.50 is nothing, but it was a mentality. I was like, all right, if I can make $4.50, I can make 10, I can make 20, I can make 100, I can make 1,000, and whatever amount of money that I'm thinking about, I can do it. And it first starts with that. You first have to have that mindset that you can do it, right? Because if you don't have that mindset, then you won't move forward. So in order to remove yourself, in order to stop being a slave to the clock, you have to first create an asset that's going to generate income. That's going to replace your job, right? Like I said, if you're working right now, don't just quit your job and then try to start a business, right? I mean, if you want to do that, that's cool, but then you need to understand the risk. But I would recommend staying at your job, working that job, whether it's a part-time, full-time job, and then working your side hustle or business on the side, because you need to start creating something that's going to generate income. And eventually you get to a point where you create that asset that's generating income. And once that asset is generating a monthly income that exceeds your lifestyle expenses plus taxes, then you're free. right? You're retired. Like you've done it. Like when I was working on my business and my online business, it got to a point where that $1,000 turned into $5,000, and then it was $10,000 a month. I got to a point where I was like, all right, I'm done. I don't need to work this kickboxing job. And then 2018, I was done. That was the last time I ever worked for someone else, and I never had to worry about doing that again. So you have to create an asset that's going to do it, whether it's a side hustle, some business, like I said, affiliate marketing, drop shipping. There's so many ways to either make money online or even if you're doing something that's self-employed, right? Let's say you don't want to work for somebody else, you want to work for yourself, right? Like when I was starting, I was a personal trainer. Now, if you wanna get to be a personal trainer, like I wouldn't do that. The problem with personal training is that your income is limited to the amount of people that you can train. So eventually when I did it, I was like, all right, I'm not going to do this no more. But if I could go back, what I would do is I would still do the personal training, but then I would try to create something online where I can create, obviously programs online where I can sell that online, or I would eventually get to a point where I'm creating supplements where I can scale that, right? Because you want to make sure that whatever you're doing, you could eventually scale. And personal training, you can't really scale because you're the person that's creating income, right? Your income is dependent on how many people you train. So the more people you train, the more money you make. But then it gets to a point where there's only 24 hours in a day. So looking back, I wish I could have done that, but that's totally cool. But like, you want to get to a point where whatever it is that you're doing, if you want to, like I said, if you want to remove yourself from working for somebody else, you're in that 9-to-5 grind, you need to find something that you can create an asset that's generating you income, right? Eventually, you want to get to a point where you're creating passive income, right? Because that's the best way, right? If you can create something, an asset that's generating passive income, where you're making money while you sleep, or you don't have to work, a certain time of hours to generate a certain amount of income, where it's making money regardless of what you're doing. Once you get to a point where that income exceeds your lifestyle expenses plus the taxes, then you're done. You're free. Like, you don't have to worry about it, right? Obviously, you need to maintain that. Don't get complacent, because that happened to me one time. Don't get complacent. You want to make sure you're maintaining that income. You want to make sure continue to grow that. But once, like I said, you get that income, that monthly income exceeding your lifestyle expenses, then you're free. You're done. You don't have to. You've removed yourself. You can quit your job, and you no longer have to work that 9-to-5. So you have to get to a point where you create this asset, and you get to a mindset that you can do it. It starts with you, right? You have to first believe that you can do it. And that's the hardest thing for a lot of people, that they don't believe that they can do that. They don't believe that they can. The only people that are rich are athletes, entertainers, people that are extremely smart, lucky, creating, like, the Elon Musks, the Jeff Bezos. They think these are the only people that are rich and finding success when it comes to making money. But there's regular people everywhere, especially with social media. There's so many people making money with social media. And it is possible just for a regular person like me and you, like, you can make money. It's just that you have to have the mindset that you can do it. There's so many different ways in which you can make money that all you got to do is like sit down and really think about it. Right? And read books. Read books. There's so much information in books. Watch these YouTube videos. Like, there's so many different ways to make money, right? You just have to sit down, take the time, and do it, right? Stop watching TV. Stop going out and drinking with friends. If you're serious about if you're serious about removing yourself and not having to be a slave to the clock, then you have to start making choices that's going to have to put you there, right? You're gonna have to sit down, think, read books, think, gather information, and with all that, start taking action, right? Because nothing's gonna happen if you don't take action, right? But you really have to commit yourself to doing it, because it is possible. I know in your mind you don't think so, but it is possible. And like I said, my motivation, I always had the motivation, but my everything started with that first $4.50. Once I saw that, then I knew it was possible to make more. And from there, everything took off. And like I said, like, you get to a point where you get to a point where when your monthly expenses are exceeding their lifestyle expenses, then you officially just retired yourself from the 9-to-5. All right. Now, like I said, even though you officially retired yourself from the 9-to-5, don't think you're not gonna be working more than 40 hours. Like, doing this stuff here, you work more than 40 hours. I work more than 40 hours. I work like every day, right? But I'm doing something that I love, right? And it's something that I love, I have a passion for, so it doesn't really feel like work. So you have to put in the work and understand that if you're going to remove yourself, divorce yourself from the 9-to-5, then you have to put in the effort. And it all starts up here. It starts with the mindset. So So yes, that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what your thoughts are. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button, share, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. Right, so guys, take care and have a good one. Later.